Hello folks, Jesse Wright here with YouCouldBe.com. Today I'm going to show you why investing in low-income neighborhoods is always better than investing in high-income neighborhoods. Now, quick disclaimer here before I go on. I'm going to say that I am going to be making quite a few generalizations in this video, and I do understand that every deal has to be looked at individually, but generally speaking, it's always better to invest in lower income neighborhoods, and I'm going to show you why right here. Today we are in Columbus, Ohio. Well, I'm not in Columbus, Ohio, but we're looking at property in Columbus, Ohio. So let's take a look at this. We've got two properties. First one is in the middle of Columbus, and it is going for $15,900. That's $15,900. And well, actually, I guess it's the southern portion of Columbus. But anyway, and then the second one is on I believe it's more west Columbus, in a nicer area close to Gahanna. Is that right? Okay, it's still inside the, what is that, 270, I believe? I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've been to Columbus, but yeah. Anyway, so we're going to look at these two areas. One is a much nicer house. This one is, 10.5 times the cost of the first house that I showed you. And we're going to go ahead and compare some things. So I'm going to start with the nicer looking house. This house is 3 bedroom, 4 bath. It's 2.5 times the size of the cheaper house. 2,397 square feet. Looks very nice. Let's pop over the pictures real quick. Very, very nice house. Decent looking kitchen. Everything looks nice and clean. Paneling, that's great in lower income neighborhoods. But just a very nice looking property. Nice looking neighborhood. Looks like it's a corner, kind of a corner lot there, unless it's just the picture. But yeah, so super nice. But here's we got some downsides. First of all, $172,000. Secondly, let's take a look at this. Property taxes. Scroll in a little bit there, or zoom in a little bit there for you. Gummit. I zoomed in too much. Yeah, property taxes are $5,863 a year. That is some crazy expensive property taxes. Let's also look at the median rent here. This rent info is pulled from rentrange.com. I guess Fannie Mae has a deal with RentRange, so they always give them a free report. You can look at that report, if you click on the View More or See More button right here, then you can actually see a more detailed version of this report. It shows you what Section 8 will pay, low, median, and high rent for both a radius around the property and also the entire zip code. So, somewhat useful. I use this sometimes. I also compare it against Rentometer, but that's another video where I will compare Rentometer to RentRange. Right now, we're just going to stick with Rentometer's median rent at $1,245 a month. We're going to assume that you can rent out this property for $1,245 a month. Now, I went ahead and pulled up Bankrate's mortgage calculator, and I filled it in already. So I'm just going to say we're going to compare both properties, and we're going to say that the list price is what we're going to pay for both properties, because Columbus is a pretty competitive market right now. Normally I try to get it for 80% of their asking price, but just to keep things fair, we're going to say both properties are list price right now. $171,900, our down payment of 20%. We're just pretending that you could actually get a down payment of only 20% as an investor, even though that's not realistic at all. Maybe for some of you guys, but for most of us, it doesn't happen. And I say most of us, even though I never, ever, ever, ever leverage property. I always pay cash, so I don't mortgage. Your mortgage payment is going to be roughly $612 a month. That's all I was going to show you. Just a down payment of $34,380, which if you're paying list price for both properties, right off the bat, you're paying twice as much just to get started on this property as you would if you bought this property right out, just owned it. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one. $15,900. Again, we're going to assume that you're paying list price. This one is not as nice. It's also not in as nice of a neighborhood. It is, like I said, 2.5 times smaller at 1,030 square feet. 2-bed, 1 bath. Let's go ahead and view some larger pictures. I like this house. I can't help it. It's got kind of an old school vibe to it. Kind of reminds me of like Rhode Island. I don't know why. Anyway, you can see it's just not as nice of a property, and but it's still decent. You know, it's got an attic. It's got a basement. It's got a storage shed. I believe this is your garage/storage shed area right here. And I think that attic that I just showed you was actually the attic of the storage shed. So maybe I'm assuming that you still have, well, obviously you have some attic space either way. But I believe this property does have a basement as well, just because it's in Ohio. So there you go. There's the pictures of that property. Let's look at a few more things. Property taxes, they're 1/10 the price, $598 a year. Median rent, $850 a month. Take a look at that rent range real quick. You can see that, you know, the Section 8 figure that rent range gives us is just below $850 a month. Median rent for this particular radius of half a mile is a little higher than the average for the zip code, but either way, you can see that, you know, if I were to rent this property out, it'd be $840, $850 a month. So we're going to just go with rent range's median rent for both of these properties. And guys, don't misunderstand me here. I would do a much more thorough analysis of all of this if I lived in Columbus and I was actually planning on purchasing this property. A friend of mine actually sent me this link, and so I checked it out. And you know, I've lived in Ohio before, built a cabin up at Stockton, but that's another story. Anyway, and so I actually waited to make this movie until it was under contract. I wanted to make sure that he did not have any more competition for this property if he decided to purchase it. So that's why I'm making it now that it is actually under contract. But again, I would do a much more thorough analysis, but that's not what this video is about. So I've went ahead and I've made a few comparisons just to show you. We're going to look at Berry Lane first. First of all, your mortgage is $612 a month. Your taxes are $488 a month. You're paying almost $6,000 a year in taxes. Now, I did this just to make it a total level playing field, even though this would not really reflect your insurance rate. But I said an insurance rate of only $50 a month, so $600 a year in insurance. And then, again, very conservative, $100 a month in just unknown expenses, $1,200 a year. If you do things right, then that's possible, but it is conservative. So you're looking at a, right off the bat, negative cash flow of $1,250 a month. And remember that we're only renting the property out for $1,245 a month. So that means that we're negatively cash flowing $5 a month on a property that we paid $35,000 up front for. Yearly loss of $60, plus we paid $35,000 just to get in the property. And for the next 30 years, you know, we're going to be kicking ourselves. Even though, of course, over the next 30 years, rent will go up. I'm not saying that you'll lose money in the long run, but it's just a horrible, horrible, horrible idea. And the only person that would try to get you to do it would either be a realtor that's going to try and sell you on the appreciation, or some guru that just wants to appeal to as broad of an audience as he possibly can, and I'm neither. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cheap property, the property in the lower income neighborhood. And of course, we're paying cash for it. We pay $15,900 for it, so our mortgage is $0. Our taxes are only $50 a month. Insurance, we're keeping it on a level playing field. We're saying insurance is also $50 a month and unknown expenses of $100 a month. So that means this property is costing us $200 a month. We're renting it out for $850 a month, which means we have a monthly cash flow of $650 and a yearly profit of $7,800. Now, let's not forget one other major issue, which is when this property goes vacant, it's not costing us anything other than the $50 a month in insurance and $50 a month in taxes. When this property goes vacant, we're still paying $50 a month in insurance, $488 a month in taxes, and $612 a month for our mortgage. So when somebody moves out of Berry Lane, we're screwed for a little while. When somebody moves out of 484 Hanford Street, we're okay, you know. Now let's talk about the other great thing about investing this way. Got my calculator right here, and here's the thing. This is $15,900 for this property right here. If you guys invest the way I invest, I do my own work, and I just find that it's easier to, one, build wealth that way, and two, I've become more intimately familiar with the rehab process. Therefore, I'm better at calculating the cost of materials when I do my own rehabs. So, I just enjoy it. So I do my own rehabs. I could be in this property for 20 grand, and if I did that, remember we're profiting $7,800 a year. So let's just say $7,800 a year divided by 20,000. Look at our yearly rate of return, 39%. That means in 2.5 years, this property has already paid for itself. We've doubled our money in 2.5 years. Imagine if you reinvested everything over and over and over again. In 6 years, you'd be making, 100,000+ in, I say passive income, even though everyone in real estate knows that it's not as passive as other forms of income. But hey, 39%, right? So that's why investing in low-income property, low-income neighborhoods is always better than investing in high-income neighborhoods. And these properties are all over. I mean, this is not a rarity at all. Cleveland, Ohio. Let's just pull up Cleveland, and I'm just going to show you guys real quick the low to high, just so you guys can see what's available here. 3,300, 9,950, 1150, 12.5, 13.5, 13.9, 17.5, 17.5, 19.9. They're all over. That's just Cleveland. And of course, sometimes there's more, sometimes there's less. But don't forget, this is just Fannie Mae's foreclosure listing site. When we talk all of the MLS, there is just an abundance of deals all over the Midwest and East Coast. That's all I have to say. That's my 2 cents on low-income neighborhoods versus high-income neighborhoods. As always, please like and subscribe if this video is helpful. And for more helpful tips and tricks on investing, visit youkouldbe.com. That's UKUDB.com. Thanks very much. See you tomorrow.